It is better to risk starving to death than surrender. If you give up on your dreams, what's left?
You're fired.
Sometimes things happen that we can't control. It sucks in the moment, but I'm of the philosophy of everything happens for a reason. So I'm starting my art career, and I'm bringing you with me. By this point, I have already been on YouTube for about a year and a half. January was the year and a half mark. So all of that time, all that I had to show for in my art career was my YouTube channel. Going into March, now being unemployed, I was like, well, what am I going to do? I am jobless and don't have anything to show for my creative career other than some really bad YouTube videos. I was barely recovering from being sick and burnt out. I dwelled on it for a couple days and came to the conclusion that I should just try to launch my art career. That's what we're doing, and I wanted to kind of explain my plan today. I felt that it was important to give a little bit of backstory because I've been pretty vague about it so far, and I think that a proper explanation of everything that happened is due. Let's talk about my plans for March. I like to consider March not necessarily as fully starting my art career, although I do want to make some attempt to be able to pursue this long term and be able to be financially stable and figure that out this month. I don't necessarily think that's realistic. So I do have a plan for this month, a plan for my overall art career, and some explanations about what happens if I am or am not successful with launching my art career in 1 month. To begin with any journey of pursuing your dreams, you have to figure out what your dreams are, identifying what your career will look like, what you want it to look like. For me, I want to be a children's book illustrator and a content creator. I think I want both of those to be my main focuses of my art career. There's going to be like other parts of it, of course, so that I can have other income streams, because those are two pretty active income streams, at least for the time being. And I'd also like to do a lot of other smaller stuff in between. It can also include passive income streams. Primarily, this month is about laying what I like to call the brickwork. I like to call it the foundation as a whole, but I think brickwork is a better term because there are a lot of little parts to starting your art career. I think that thinking about it as a brick by brick process is a very realistic and easier to understand way of building the start of an art career. For the month, normally I wouldn't have like a numerical goal, but because I am unemployed, I do have to have like a quota of some sort to be able to continue down this path. My goal for this month is to try to get as far as I can in becoming a full-time artist as possible. But another really important part of this whole pie is deciding what success looks like. For my overall art career, I would like to have a higher income than I've ever had before. I'd like to have several income streams, a lot of which will be passive, and the ones that I really love to be more active income streams and to be more larger portions of my day-to-day. Success for this month would mean making $1,000. I want to start by saying that I am very lucky to be in the position that I'm in, and I'm very fortunate to have a partner that is willing to help me out and support me in this process or journey. And I fully acknowledge that I am in a place of privilege right now, especially with not working and being able to try to pursue my dreams while my partner takes care of everything on the financial end. If I were to make $1,000 a month, I would be able to cover my personal expenses, and then I would have like a little bit that I can contribute to mutual expenses. It's not substantial. It can mean a lot to you and it can mean very little to you. It's going to be different for everyone. Everyone has their own perspective. But I think it's a good baseline for never having done this before. I think that if I can successfully make $1,000 per month in the month of March, that I can successfully grow that income for the rest of the year. A lot of what I'm doing is trying to set myself up for success in the long run, and my goals right now are focused on both short-term and long-term success. The first part is YouTube. Obviously, I want to become a content creator, and that means that I want to make content. I want to make videos and share my work, share my artwork, share the things that I am learning as I'm progressing on this journey to become a full-time artist, and try to explore with different creativities like filmmaking and animation, filming, talking to the camera like I am right now. I want to experiment with all kinds of forms of creativity. I think in January specifically was when I discovered my love for filmmaking, because that is when I really passionately worked on my YouTube channel and spent a lot of time learning my processes, and I think that I've also become a lot more knowledgeable now because I sparked interest in exploring my filmmaking in January. I can now explore different ways of bringing that to life. Lately, I've been watching a lot of other YouTubers who talk about making content and how they make their content, and I've been learning a lot of different techniques and behind the scenes processes that can make things easier. Those are some things that I want to try out, and I think that I could come up with a pretty straightforward workflow that could be sustainable in the long run. The next part is working on children's book illustration. That is another thing that I am going to be working on throughout the month. I'm sure that the videos are going to come out later than the actual book, but it's another really big project that I think is really important to moving forward in that career path. I think having a project based on what I would like to do in the future and then being able to do that now would help me to affirm that that's the path that I want to go down, first of all. And second of all, add some stuff to my portfolio. I think I'm going to create 2 mock pieces, which is a term to describe artwork that is made for a specific thing, but that thing that doesn't exist yet. So in this particular instance, I would be creating fake books that I can show in my portfolio that aren't full books yet. Does that make sense? It's a project to showcase that I am capable of creating this work, but that I don't necessarily have to create the full project to showcase that. I think that might be the best way to describe what a mock project would be. And so I'm gonna do 2 of those in addition to my children's book. I want to launch my online shop. I have thought about starting an online shop in the past, and obviously I don't really have the audience to be able to afford putting in an investment into starting an online shop. I want to do a print-on-demand type of shop. I don't know how well that will do. I don't know how my children's book would sell since I am self-publishing and I'm not well known. So I think I just want it to be available on my website so that it is available in case anyone wants it, and I'll probably do some marketing for it, but I don't know how much I would do. I also want to do print on demand for other traditional art shop type things like prints. I can outsource really high quality prints. I have found a print store that I would be confident in producing high quality reproductions of my work. I have mixed feelings about anything beyond what I have decided on so far, because I can't really find super high quality focused brands to create the stuff that I want to do. Like stickers, I think I'm just gonna have to go with like a very basic print platform. I do have some hesitancies with it, but I think it would be a lot more sustainable for me right now, considering I am a small creator and I don't have a sizable audience where I could realistically rely on having immediate income from a shop. So I think that it will be easiest to do it this way. I also want to dabble with affiliate marketing. I never really thought too much about it, but I want to give it a go, see how that works. I don't know. I think it would be helpful because I've been working on my website and I do have like a space for my favorite art supplies on my FAQ, and I think that would really be helpful to link there. But other than that, I think that YouTube descriptions would be the only other place that they would be useful. Next, I want to build a portfolio, like I mentioned before, but I want to have multiple categories. I don't want to limit myself to just children's book illustration because I'm interested in different types of illustration. I like just your generic like one page or couple page designs of random whatever, I don't even know. And I think that I also want to try editorial. And then the last part of this month-long endeavor is that I want to create my media kit. Now I know I don't need one because I am not taking sponsorships at the moment. I have been reached out to by a couple companies, but I don't really trust anyone because I don't have like a sizable audience that anyone would really pay for me to advertise to, when there are so many other creators that they could hire to get a much farther reach than I can. I don't really want a media kit so that I can use it right now. I more realistically want to have a media kit in case I go back to working and I all of a sudden grow and start being reached out to by sponsors and I'm not scrambling at the last minute to throw one together. I just want to have one done and ready and then just have to update my numbers when it does happen. I feel like that would be the easiest way to do it. And then I can also have like a sample, or not a sample, but like a template available for free for whoever wants to go to my website and get one. I don't have one yet, but I think that's something that I want to do here pretty soon. Just get it done and out of the way so I can focus on the rest of my projects this month. That is the bulk of what I want to do this month. I do have more specific plans for each individual category, but for the most part, a lot of this is going to be turned into other videos so that you guys can see how I am doing everything. I kind of want this to be a series, that way I'm sharing my journey and hopefully one day I become really successful and I can have a little series for you guys to reference while I'm growing and be able to show where I've started and how I did everything. I just wanted to make sure that I am being transparent and sharing everything along the way. So now I wanted to quickly talk about what is going to happen beyond this month. What it means for me to succeed or fail, and what it will look like going forward after all this. I've set myself a benchmark of making $1,000 this month, and that really does determine success or failure, not in the sense that I am going to like quit my career if I fail. That's not what the intention is for this. I want everything that I do now to be easy to maintain and sustainable for me to continue doing if I do have to go back to working full time. That's kind of the purpose of a lot of what I'm doing, and I want to set myself up for future success in case my career doesn't jumpstart right now. I mean, Sometimes it's just not your time, and it might not be my time. It could be, but it might not be. And I want to be prepared for this to not be my time and to not go back to work feeling like I wasted an entire month. I just don't want to waste this opportunity to boost what career I could have and try to develop it further. Obviously, if I reach that $1,000 milestone, that would be success. I would be able to continue on in April with a higher income goal and proceed with what I'm doing now. That is basically what it is. If I don't reach that $1,000 threshold, then I go back to working full-time. I have considered other options. I'm not entirely sure everything that's going to happen. A lot of stuff is up in the air right now. So I think it's just interesting to try to play it by ear, trying not to plan too far into the future because obviously I don't know what's going to happen, and obviously there are all kinds of things that could happen within the next few months. I just want to be set up for success or set up for future success down the road, depending on how this month goes. I have not been able to exceed making $2,000 a month. So if I could make half that, even with most of this month being stuff that sets me up for the future and not stuff that I'm actively working on now, I won't be working on a lot of the same stuff that I'm doing this month, next month. I will have set up so much stuff this month for my future success that next month I can focus on more of the income side for that month. And if I can make $1,000 this month, I think that I would be able to exceed that easily within the next couple months. Like that would be huge. Like I don't think that my brain even fully comprehends the possibility of that. Another thing that I think was really important in my consideration for doing this is that me going to a job to apply and going into interviews, it'll look a lot better on my resume to say that I spent the last month creating my first ever children's book, rather than telling them that I just got fired from my last job. I feel like that's a lot better of a way to present myself, and I think that it could also, I don't know, I won't necessarily be applying for art jobs, but I think that it could also open the door in other ways, potentially, if I were to actually tell people about what I do, because historically I haven't shared any of the stuff that I do because I didn't think that it was good enough. I don't have everything figured out. I hope that this plan and explanation was cohesive enough to understand, because I've been going back and forth for weeks now trying to figure out how to best explain everything. I think that it's still pretty muddy. I don't think that I was very clear on everything, but I hope it made sense, and I hope that you understand what is going on. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment. I do respond to all of my comments. I will answer all of your comments if you just leave me questions. But like I said, a lot of what I've explained is going to become future videos, and I do want this to be a series. If you are interested in following this journey, you should subscribe, so that way you can stay up to date and get notifications whenever I upload. My next video is going to be all about how I am planning my first ever children's book, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.